This is gravity of attraction. And what if I told you the relationship that drained 2 years of your life already told you exactly what it was in the first 30 days? Not loudly, not dramatically, not through some obvious betrayal or cinematic red flag. Quietly, subtly, in small moments you dismissed because they were wrapped in charm, chemistry, attention, and the intoxicating feeling of finally being seen. And that's the dangerous part. The earliest warnings rarely feel dangerous. They feel exciting. They feel romantic. They feel like possibility. Until one day, 18 months later, you're lying awake, replaying everything and realizing it was there from the beginning. I just didn't know what I was looking at. And that is not your fault. Nobody teaches people how to read the early signals. Not the dramatic ones, the subtle psychological patterns that quietly predict what the relationship will eventually become. So today, we fix that. This is not about spotting obvious toxicity. This is about learning how to identify the relationships that slowly consume you before your nervous system gets attached, before the emotional investment becomes too deep, before the sunk cost traps you, before you bond to someone who is never truly building with you in the first place. Why the first 30 days are so dangerous. Here's something most people do not understand. The beginning of attraction is neurologically designed to distort your judgment. During early attraction, your brain floods with dopamine and norepinephrine, and those chemicals suppress the very part of your brain responsible for rational assessment, meaning this: you are not seeing the person clearly. You are seeing them through chemistry. That's why feelings alone are unreliable in the beginning, because what feels like certainty may simply be neurochemical intensity. So you need a framework, something objective, something your emotions cannot easily override, because people can fake a version of themselves for a short period of time, but they cannot maintain a perfect performance across every interaction, every inconvenience, every emotional moment for an entire month. Eventually, the pattern leaks through. Signal 1, the pace problem. A placeholder relationship almost never moves slowly. It accelerates. And this is where people get confused, because acceleration feels like passion. It feels like finally someone who knows what they want. Finally someone not playing games. Finally someone serious about me. But there is a difference between genuine enthusiasm and manufactured urgency. Genuine interest feels calm. It doesn't pressure you. It doesn't make you feel like you'll lose something if you don't move fast enough. Manufactured urgency creates anxiety, a subtle pressure, a feeling that commitment must happen quickly. And psychologically, that matters, because manipulative or emotionally unavailable people often push for emotional investment before you have enough information to assess them properly. They want attachment first, evaluation later, but someone genuinely building with you, they are comfortable with pace. They do not need urgency to secure connection, because real intention does not panic. If the first 30 days feel rushed, pay attention. That feeling is data. Signal 2, the specificity gap. Listen carefully to how they talk about the future. A placeholder speaks in emotional generalities. Things like, I feel something special with you. I haven't connected like this in years. I can see this becoming something. These statements sound intimate, but notice something important. They are emotionally warm, while remaining completely nonspecific. General statements create feelings without requiring commitment, but someone genuinely building with you speaks differently. They become specific. Specificity requires emotional risk. They say, I want to take you to this place I love. I've been thinking about what you told me last week. I'd actually like you to meet my friends sometime. Specificity means they are mentally integrating you into their real life, not just enjoying your emotional presence in the moment. General warmth costs nothing. Specificity costs vulnerability. Watch who is willing to pay for it. Signal 3, what they do with your vulnerability. In the first month, you will inevitably reveal pieces of yourself, small insecurities, past experiences, personal stories, things that matter to you. Watch carefully what they do with that information. Someone genuinely interested in you remembers it. They reference it later. They ask thoughtful follow-up questions. They use what you shared to understand you more deeply. But a placeholder often does something different. They collect information strategically, not to know you, but to manage you, to learn what makes you feel seen, what keeps you emotionally attached, what words produce closeness fastest. And the difference between being deeply understood and being emotionally managed is subtle, but your nervous system feels it, even when your conscious mind still feels flattered by the attention. Signal 4. The feeling after they leave this may be the most important signal of all, and it requires brutal honesty. After spending time with them, how do you feel once you're alone again? Not during the chemistry, not during the excitement. After, do you feel calm, grounded, emotionally settled, slightly more yourself? Or do you feel anxious, mentally activated, replaying conversations, checking your phone compulsively, searching for reassurance? Because healthy connection tends to regulate the nervous system. Unstable connection tends to activate it. And what many people mistake for excitement is actually the early stage of emotional instability. Your body often recognizes unsafe dynamics long before your mind does. The brutal truth: you do not need years to know who someone is. You need attention, real attention. Watch the pace they create, the language they use, how they handle your vulnerability, and what your nervous system feels after they leave. One moment alone means nothing. Patterns mean everything. Because anyone can seem extraordinary for one night. What matters is who they consistently are over time. And if you learn to read the first 30 days correctly, you stop wasting years trying to decode people who already showed you the truth. Aware, not paranoid, not cynical. Aware, that is the version of you we are building here on Gravity of Attraction. So tell me honestly in the comments, looking back at a relationship that hurt you, what was the signal in the first 30 days that you explained away?